Today we're going to talk about why Piaget said we go through discontinuous development, or essentially he said that we go through stage-like development, meaning that in each stage we are significantly different. So he thought of development more like the way you would think about a caterpillar. One grows and evolves, and at each different stage they are dramatically different. So there was a huge divide between how we conceptualize information compared to children. So we're going to kind of go through and talk about what that means and how he thought about our thinking and its evolution. So basic ideas are that he thought we had schemas, or basically a schema is a way that we organize the information in our world, is similar to a concept. So we're always adding and creating these different concepts through a process of either assimilation, which means that we add things into our existing worldview, or accommodation, which means that we have to create new categories for the information that we have. So he said that there were basically 4 stages. I'm going to give you a brief overview of each stage, and I want you to highlight certain things that I talk about. So the sensorimotor stage is like the very first stage where babies essentially engage in like simple reflexes. They do things just because they are enjoyable, and they repeat those activities over and over again. And then as they get older, they get more complex. So in the beginning, the only things that they can do for enjoyment are like suck, and they can only use like their own body or like mom's body if they're breastfeeding. But then as they get older, they're able to coordinate their body to do things that are more complex. So bring their hands up to their face and move their hands in front of their face, or actually bring a toy up into their face so that they can see the toy in their line of vision. So some important things that develop in this sensory motor stage is something called object permanence. So as you can see, I have 2 videos on object permanence here. So I want you to watch these. I want you to click on these videos. The basic idea behind object permanence is the baby starts to learn that something can exist even when it's outside of their vision. Okay, and this is an important milestone, and it shows that the baby's development is on track. So I want you to watch those videos and know the difference between what is and what is not object permanence. As they are leaving or exiting the sensory motor stage, you start to see them try to carry out tiny experiments. So this is the age when you will see children drop things from like their tray or a basket, and they will watch it fall, and they will make commentary, or they will do it repeatedly. They'll dump to like cause and effect toys. They might take a bucket full of toys and then pour them out and then put them back in the bucket. And then just as we're leaving, you're starting to see them do things like deferred imitation, or where they copy someone's actions even if the person is not currently present. So they might copy their cousin's actions they saw yesterday at a play date. They might do those same behaviors even when they can't see the person. So now we're in stage 2. This actually starts at 2 years old. So this is like a toddler, and this is going to be pre-operational thought. So I have attached a video, and when you watch that video, you will see that they are engaging in pre-operational thought. So they're able to use language to understand different concepts, but they don't process the way that we do still. So they do something called centration, or what it looks like is what it is. So if they see a short and a long cup, they always assume that there's less water in the short cup because it looks like it's less, even if that short cup is rather wide. You can only really look at one aspect of the stimulus at a time. So that's where that word comes from. They also don't understand when you manipulate or change things, if nothing was lost, then the amount of the substance stays the same. So if you look at the Play-Doh example on the video, or they use actually cups and they pour different varying amounts of water, you will see what I'm saying. Something else they show at this age is egocentrism. So this just means that they see the world from their own perspective. So at this age, they are more inclined to experience things and understand that their experiences, or interpret their experiences as being everyone else's. So at this age, you might see like a toddler bring you like a present, and they'll say, look, it's so beautiful. But instead of turning it to face you, which is what we would naturally do, they will tell you it's so beautiful while looking at it themselves, right? Because they assume their perspective is the perspective. This is also why little kids will sit right in front of the TV, okay? And then when you tell them to move, they'll say they can see. Because if they can see, they assume you can see. Intuitive thought. So this is when they make leaps in logic without any evidence. And I'm sure we can all remember instances of children doing this. Now we're going to get into stage 3. So this is concrete operational. This is where their thinking becomes much more adult-like. So this is where you will see them use logic when they try to solve a problem, and you can no longer fool them by pouring different amounts of liquid into different containers. They know that if nothing was taken away, then nothing has been lost. This is also where you cannot fool them. So you might be able to fool a toddler into thinking he's got 2 cookies if you break one cookie up. This is not gonna work on a 3rd grader. They understand fractions at a rudimentary level. And then the last one is formal operations. So what this means is that our thinking is evolving from black and white, and we're starting to use kind of abstract logic. So we can contemplate things that we have not physically engaged with and understand how they might work in the real world. We're also able to use logic to understand that if the premises are true, then the conclusion is true. So if dogs are cats and cats are frogs, we know that dogs are frogs. Or put a different way, however you want to phrase this, we know that if A equals B and B equals C, then A equals C. So we can understand the concepts of logic. Now, one of the issues with this is that a lot of people, even as adults, don't really understand formal operations.